Should I even bother with a budget for 2021? This is a question I put to one of our business leader advisory boards. Here's what they said. Yes, there's 4 reasons why. First is you need to have a baseline budget and a better than expected or high budget and a not as good as expected or low budget. You need to plan these out in advance so that you have that plan put in place for when things change. 2, define trip points when you would switch from one budget to another. For example, if your revenue suddenly dropped by 18%, then you would switch from your baseline budget to your low budget. This low budget would have a smaller expense model, could include fewer employees, it could include cutting out other kinds of expenses. Or, for example, if your backlog suddenly goes up by 6 weeks, so you have 6 weeks more of backlog, you may need to switch from your baseline budget to your high budget, and which has an expanded expense model, which may include additional employees and other expenses that go along with producing at a higher level. The third point is to hand off trip management to someone else. This is 2 parts to this. One is monitoring the trip points that you've defined. So where are they at? And then actually sounding the alarm when a trip point occurs so that you can make that switch from one budget to another. This is really important that those business leaders said, you know, I'm the wrong person to do this, because I'll often say if something's not going quite well, it will turn around soon. And I hesitate to make that switch. And so it needs to really be outside of myself where we make that switch so we don't lose time and really important leverage in the marketplace. Fourth is to define specific decisions besides just the budget itself that need to be made when that trip point occurs so that they go along with this plan so that you can adapt to what's happening in the market as quickly as possible and stay ahead of the curve. So what do you think? What is your budget plan for 2021? We would love to talk to you about this. We'd love to help you put a plan into place so that 2021 can be as good, as great as it can be. So let's talk. Thanks.